everyone, Morgan here. It's time to go step by step of the process of freeze drying. First, what we are doing now is allowing it 15 minutes to cool the chamber before I put any trays in. So what I do is I close the door and I go ahead and seal. That's the vacuum chamber seal. So I go ahead and make sure that that's already sealed so that I'm just good to go whenever I put the trays in. Okay, so I got busy, time elapsed, 20 minutes have gone by. It doesn't matter if you let it go 20 minutes, an hour, the chamber will just keep getting colder. So that's it, see, it's getting colder. Doesn't matter. I have pre-frozen food. Now, you don't have to pre-freeze anything. I like to pre-freeze liquids like this. This is salsa, guacamole, and then this is a homemade cheese sauce that I made. I'm going to put these in. Again, I like to pre-freeze stuff like this because it reduces the freezing time in there. You know, because it freezes everything first and then it goes through the drying sublimation process. Here, if I freeze this stuff first, it'll take way less time to freeze in there. So it's less time on the machine. You know, my freezer's already running. So anyway, let's get it in. Liquids in general will take longer to freeze dry, but once the trays are in, I close it, double check, make sure the drain valve is closed because that's your vacuum. And then see, it even tells you load trays. Now it's going into the freezing process. And basically at this point, I can just walk away until it's done. Of course, I will come and check it every once in a while just to make sure there are no errors or anything like that. But at this point, the machine just does it. That's it. I don't have to set anything else. I don't have to set any times. In fact, with this, I don't have to do any settings. It's just all default settings. Unless I'm going into candy mode, in which I might set different temps. I'm not really interested in candy, but that's just FYI for you. But yeah, it's all default settings, whatever's in there. Some people like to up the extra dry time, and you can do that. I don't really, because I'm here all the time. I work from home, whatever, so I'm just here all the time. It doesn't really matter to me. I can always manually up the dry time, and I'll tell you that in a little bit. In this instance, pre-freezing, actually really helped because it took about 2 hours and 40 minutes for it to finally get to the vacuum stage. It's now vacuuming. It has finished the freezing cycle and it's vacuuming now, and it will be going into the the drying portion here in just a little bit. Okay, this is the drying. This time really doesn't mean anything. It just means, that's time elapsed. So that's it. It's in the drying phase and it's drying. All right, so it is testing time. It has been 27 hours. I did some extra dry time. At this point, you want to open it and check them before you press anything else. Always warm the trays. I already warmed them, and then it goes back to warm trays. But
take that one.
I will. Let's check this one. So what you want to do is, no matter what you're doing, you want. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You want to make sure that you're checking for cold spots. Some people weigh it, but I'm gonna check for cold spots. And liquid is hard because you gotta like get it out.
What?
All right. So what you're doing is you're just like peeling some apart and then checking for cold spots. If it's cold, you will know right away. You'll be like, oh, that's a cold spot. That's not good, right? And you're just making sure that it is completely. Even sometimes it'll snap.
That's good.
Yeah, sometimes it'll snap and it won't be, done on the inside. So the snap isn't necessarily like, oh, that's an indication. But okay, so that one's good. And then we just keep testing them all.
Great one.
Good job.
My first.
So this one came out much nicer than this one. This one kind of stuck a little bit. Sometimes I use parchment paper on liquids. I just didn't this time. But yeah, everything's feeling good with this one. And like with the breaking, I'm going to put it in bags anyway, so I'm going to have to break it up. Okay. So the cheese I was most concerned with because it was so thick. Good job. Because it was so thick. And you really want to, really examine it. Don't rush through this process. Get your hands on as much as possible. This is great though. Like it's feeling just fantastic.
Crispy.
Yeah. All right, everything looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this. I don't need to add any more dry time. At this point, I will defrost. You do not have to defrost. You can literally just open the door and let, nature take effect. Some people put a fan against it, whatever. I like to just let it defrost. Sometimes it takes a couple taps there. There we go. Closed door tells you what to do. Now defrost. I have realized that 3 hours is good defrost for me.
That over here looks perfection and
Like a little helper.
perfect.
Perfect. And now we're gonna bag it up into Mylar with oxygen absorbers.
Yeah.
And
bag yes up and you bag yields up.
okay, and that's it.
Yeah, bag yes.
That's the entire process from start to finish. The machine just does all the work basically, and that's why I love it so much. Of course, you have to check on it every once in a while just to make sure, everything's running smooth or whatever. And, there's maintenance, like with this, there's the pump oil. Like I said before, if it's clear, you just kind of let it go. There's also a filter that they sent that you could filter the oil and to use it again. And then you can buy new oil. Thank y'all so much for watching Conquering Around by Preparing today.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers for all my pretties. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Deliver.